Good morning, day 129. All the lush greenness. I might be in Ireland. No, back in Kentucky. And, look at this beauty. Isn't that like perfection? I wish I could take a picture right now. Can I? No, I can't. But I got one a few minutes ago that was really good. Beautiful, beautiful. Rise and shine. Is that not quintessential? With a farm, a silo, and the rolling hills, green hills, and water. We've got it all here. What in the world? All right. I might just stand here and enjoy it. And we'll enjoy it together. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm in Proverbs 23. And yesterday in Proverbs 22, we kind of, or at least what I pulled out of it, was the difference, the fine line between joking and sarcasm or mocking, what the Bible calls mocking. And today, let's talk about the flip side of that. Let's turn the tables. What if you are the one being mocked? How do you handle that? And believe it or not, within Proverbs 23 are some clues, which I thought was really interesting as I really thought about all of my training as a coach and how I coach people. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's kind of in here. It's not obvious, but it's there. So we'll talk about that. And I'm kind of excited about that, actually, because this is a tough one. And because as we even talked about yesterday, one of the foundational or most essential human kind of needs and what keeps us making choices that maybe we don't really want to make, but we do anyway, is belonging. We want to belong. We need to belong. That's how we stay safe, being part of a community, like literally, like how we can stay safe, safety in numbers, and is that sense of belonging. But a lot of times what we don't realize, if we believe one way, but we're in a community that believes a different way, and we go against that, we abandon ourselves and we no longer belong to ourselves. We're only belonging to the community that we've chosen, even if it's not a good fit for us and even if they believe a different way, which is why that is a slippery slope and we might eventually just join in and abandon ourselves. And then that creates this divide within. And then maybe you're not getting mocked on the inside, but you're getting mocked on the outside, but you're getting mocked on the inside. You start talking negatively to yourself and like, what's wrong with you? We mock ourselves. So this isn't something that just or our own behavior will mock us, or the thing that we're trying to get away from, will mock you through temptation. Like, come on. So this is a tough one but within this particular chapter, there are some clues, and it's exactly what we talk about in coaching and how we coach ourselves when we want to. Oh my gosh. All right, I got to pause for just a minute for those of y'all on video. Look at that. Like, oh my goodness. Beautiful. We have to know exactly what we want, what we're committed to, and why. And a why that is so strong that you can stand in the face of that mocking if you can't get away from it. Now, it also does say in here to don't spend time with or sit at the table with gluttons and drunks. Because again, for the same reason, like we want to belong, if you spend time with that, you're going to be tempted. I mean, you're just making it harder on yourself. But some of us, because we were once on the other side of the table and we're one of those, we are surrounded by that. And then we wake up and we're like, okay. Then we're like, can I do this? This is going to be too hard, because either you can't get away from it or you're making a choice not to for now. And how do you, and that will mock you. Like those people might actually mock you because of what we talked about yesterday, because they're feeling threatened. They don't want their person to change. They are afraid of you leaving or outgrowing them. And so they will mock you. The other thing that and I should have read this before I went on my little transformation journey, is it tells you not to waste your breath on mockers. I wasted a lot of breath and caused a lot of fighting, because I then was kind of from their probably point of view, I was also mocking. And so we were mocking each other and just arguments and quarreling. And because, you know, when you're the one even making the change and nobody else around you likes it and they're threatened by it, but you're strong in it, the temptation when you're kind of a newbie and in that space is to think that you can convince everybody. Look, I've learned this great thing and you need to, you know, join me. And they're like, nah, what? Nah. So eventually wisdom hopefully comes along, especially if you're in a community. So that's the next step. So if we know that we want to belong and how easily we are influenced, and you're kind of in the thick of it and you can't get out of it for whatever reason, and maybe it's your own even internal counsel mocking you, or the drink or the drug or the shopping or the money or the TV, whatever seems like it's mocking you. What do you do? Well, community is one of the answers. You got to find some new people to be influenced by, to counterbalance this and counteract this, and to confirm your new beliefs and the new direction that you want to go. And then lastly, I'll probably put this in bullet forms and when I sit down to write, because it really is kind of a step-by-step, like what we talk, a lot of what we coach people on is, and what I, even on one-to-one and in group coaching, the next step is to constantly be reminding yourself where that path leads if you were to give in to the temptation. Like, remember, keep it for, you know, that pain of the reason why you decided to wake up and make a change. You've got to constantly remind yourself of the pain of making that choice if you were to go back. And that will hopefully then redirect you, put you back on the path when you are starting to fall into the trap of whatever is mocking you or whoever is mocking you. And mocking, I kind of, you know, I've been like, it's a really interesting word, because again, I think it's a fine line. It's easy to kind of convince yourself, and for the person even mocking or the thing, like whenever that situation is happening, for it to seem funny and seem sort of benign or innocent, like, you know, I love you. That's why I'm just having fun, you know, lighten up, like I told you I did. But underneath it all was a little bit threatening. Wow, what's going to happen to my daughter if she grows up to be an independent adult, and this is what she really believes, and this is the group or ideology that she goes with. And there was some underlying concern and maybe fear on my part, and in my not wanting to just be curious and sit down and even have a mature discussion and learn more and even share and maybe even open the door to sharing my concerns and fears that she might actually listen to or not. But rather than taking that more measured approach maybe and connecting approach, the temptation was to kind of joke about it, and then maybe she would get the message and see and be even influenced, and not because we don't want to be the butt of anybody's jokes. And when we think people are laughing at us, this is something that we've learned over thousands of years or however long. This is not a new problem. People have been doing this for thousands of years. We don't like people laughing at us or thinking that we're weird or other than. And so we will join in doing lots of things. As parents, as kids, we know this. That's peer pressure. And peer pressure often happens through mocking and joking and through fun. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Y'all. Oh my gosh. I was a little bit sad as I was leaving Florida yesterday. And then I'm like, wow, God's earth is beautiful no matter where it is. I'm really realizing how blessed I am actually by the life that I've led, and that I've seen just about all 50 states, and even more. And wow, okay, so I'm going to keep it fairly short and sweet today, and keep it at some bullet points for you to maybe reflect on if you're trying to make a change. This is something that I have to do because I've made some big changes that people in my immediate daily life, I have to watch behavior and things happening that I don't agree with, and that feels like mocking to me. That was the other thing that kind of revealed itself to me, was this concept of, why do I have such a problem with them making their own choice and me making my choice? And we do really love each other, and we know we're each trying to do our best. But when you really believe something and you see and that it's the right path, and somebody you love that knows you well and sees all the positive changes, and they're like, yeah, good for you, and this keeping down their path, that feels like mocking. So I've got to do some work there, and maybe even dig in more to my own community and to God. So, wait a minute. I knew I was usually when I keep going, when I say I'm going to stop, it's because my brain knows, wait a minute, there's one more point. And this is the most important, at least for me as a believer. And since I'm going to the Bible to even validate all of my training from the University of Life and actual, coach training, is to go to God. You have to commit to God, cling to the hope and the promises that that if you stay on this path, this will happen for you. These good things will happen to you. You will be rewarded. And to not be tempted by what's happening out here in your personal relationships, but make sure that you've got a lot of things happening in your world, and that you're intentional about building up community and relationships and habits that will support the choices that God wants for you. Because God wants us to be healthy. He doesn't want us being mocked. He doesn't want us being quarreling. He doesn't and he's saying it right here, stay away from this stuff. But as I was reading, I can't quote the verse right now, but as he starts going into this long list of, when you're drunk here's what happens. You get, you know, you can't walk, you get in fights, you can't feel things, you wake up not knowing what happened to you, people are mad at you, you've got maybe broken bones and all of this, like, and yet you wake up and what is the first thing you do? Go look for more drink. But the first line of that, so it's like verses and verses of this, about, specifically about alcohol. So we've been dealing with this problem for thousands and thousands of years. Nothing new under the sun. But it starts with, don't look at the sparkling red wine in your cup. Don't be tempted by that. And when you hear that phrase, what is the first thing you think about? Oh, sparkling red wine. Who wouldn't want that? But that's why they go down the rabbit hole. And this is what happens. This is why you've got to kind of what we call play the movie forward. But when you just tell your brain, don't, blah, 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 and what your brain previously used to think was awesome, it only hears the awesome thing. So that's why we really need to be part of a community and be journaling and writing and pouring into all the good benefits. We've got to be really careful. Our brain does not hear the word don't. It doesn't like being deprived. So you've got to constantly be positive and saying, but look what I get, look what I get, look what I get, get. So make sure that you also do that. And when you focus on the negative aspects of what you previously did that might still be tempting to you, don't stop at just the don't have the wine, but continue on that whole, like exactly where that leads you, and not just the deliciousness that, and they even say that in the verse, it goes down smooth. Oh yeah, that first drink. If you could keep it to one, yes, but that's not what we're talking about here. And if your thing is not wine, you can slide in your thing. Cheeseburgers, macaroni, ice cream. Every time you hit buy now on Amazon, whatever dopamine hit, like follow that all the way to the end. Because if you're listening to this and to me, yeah, we're in the same boat of trying to make some changes. All right, I'm going to leave you with this beautiful view. And